on my face. Whew, the look of frustration. Hang on, let me share this out because I shared several videos out and I don't know what's happening with any of them. Hang on. Okay, y'all. It could be a sign for me not to even be here, y'all. Could be. Could be just a sign saying you don't even need to be doing this. So I might need to not do this because I can't get it together. Something's not working for me. And usually that could be a sign that say, girl, this ain't the way to go. This ain't what you need to be doing. Mm. So I'll wait for you guys to get in because I know you probably got umpteen links that I sent you, and I'm so sorry about that. But I promise you, well, I can't promise you it wasn't my fault. Maybe it was something that I wasn't doing right. And if this don't quite work, then I know I'm getting off. Just tried to share this out, but I'll give it a few minutes and see if you guys can come in. If not, I'm going to scrap this video and I'm going to keep it moving. I am not going to let this defeat me. Now why? Oh, okay. I was going to say, now why is that big? Hang on. I need to do something. Give me a second. I need to delete a couple of other posts. Hang on. While you guys are coming in, if you don't see me, it's okay. I'm over here. Just let me know where you're watching from. Oh, let me refresh this page. Oh, no, that's the wrong page. Hang on. Yeah, I'll be trying to get my whole self together, but just something to be working out right now. I'm just trying to post. I can't even get to my page, y'all. I don't even know where to find it. Okay, maybe there it is. Can y'all hear the frustration in my voice, y'all? Just the simple things that I'm trying to do. Okay. I honestly don't even know if y'all seeing my post. Some of y'all said y'all weren't getting my posts until like the day after. So I honestly don't know if you all are getting my posts. Why is that not deleted? Okay. All right. So the actual one is up. Let me see if it's going to let me get to you. Okay. Make that bigger. Okay. All right. There's one person watching. That's probably me. While I wait for you guys to come in, I am going to be interfacing my pieces. And if you're not in when I'm done with that, then I'm just going to hop off. Yep. Let's see. Make sure my chat filter is up. Okay. Are there any new project runways up? That's what I want to know. I've been watching some outdated project runway shows, so I would love to know if there are any new ones out that I can catch up on. I don't know what I did with my remote control. I can't seem to keep up with nothing these days. There we go. I'll tell you what I have been catching up on is The Equalizer. The one with Queen Latifah. So yeah, watch me while I work. So I'm actually steaming, pressing my fusible, my interfacings on, getting that done, prepping to sew. So I finally got the interfacing done. I actually went to a shop in South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, where I found a 45-inch wide interfacing. I was trying to describe it to you guys the other night, and this is what it looks like. You can't see it really good here. Hopefully you can see it a little bit better, but it's called Shape Flex. It's this lady gets hers from a different place. There were a couple of vendors that I caught wind of. I need to keep my eye on so I can start buying some of this stuff wholesale. And but I was able to get a couple of yards of it so I can go ahead and work on this suit so I can see how it's going to fit. I tested the pants. You guys see me. You guys see me do the pants. So now I've got to work on the jacket. The pants are working. I like the way the pants fit now. I had to do a couple of modifications and some changes, make some changes to it, but they seem to be working now. Okay. Is everybody hanging out tonight? Is everybody out in the streets? What are you up to? What's going on? And that is the. What did I do with the pattern to it? Told y'all just. Here it is. Okay, so got the pockets cut out. I'm interfacing the front. I don't think I'm going to interface the back. I'm just going to interface the front of the jacket. I don't think I want to interface the back. Hmm, I don't know. I might go ahead and do it. The only modifications I made to this jacket pretty much is just adding about an inch to the sides to give me a couple of inches. Well, actually, a little bit more than a couple of inches because a half an inch will give you 2 inches. 1 whole inch is going to give me an extra 4 inches just around the hip part, the stomach and hip part. So hopefully that'll be enough. But everything else was fine. I didn't need to lengthen it, shorten it at the waist length. Didn't need to shorten it. Didn't need to shorten the arm length because probably be wearing bracelets or watch or something like that. So I don't want it too long. But did need to be able to go around my belly. So this is actually my workable or wearable muslin that I'm working on. And if you haven't heard by now, this is the Zendaya-inspired suit that I'm using, this pattern that was recommended by Simplicity. I started working on another one. This is for the jacket and this is for the vest. This is Vogue 1870 and this is Butterick 6901. And I actually use this pattern for the pants. That was before I purchased this pattern. So I'm going to actually be finishing up those pants. But I'm working on the jacket and the vest today to get an idea of how that's going to be working for me. So right now I am actually pressing my interfacings in. So I can go ahead and start that process. I love this suit, and I'm being a little bit realistic because I, for one, am not as small as Zendaya, and she wears that suit well. I'm just very hopeful that this suit will look halfway decent on me as it did on her. That's my prayer, y'all. That is my prayer. Hello to whoever is watching, looking on. Thank you so much. Let me know who you are and where you're watching from. I'm making my suit, this wearable muslin, out of denim. Once I work the kinks out and everything, and I feel like it's going to look okay on me, I'm actually going to make this out of a white stretch. It's like a stretch gabardine, I think. No, stretch crepe. I'm sorry, stretch crepe. It's a white stretch crepe, and then I also have it in a green, like a Kelly green. Probably Excuse me, probably make it out of the Kelly green first. I like it. All right, so the interfacing the jacket, the front panel piece, the front bodice piece, the lapels. Oh, that's what I need to do. Okay, that's this part right here. The front and the lapels, and then the side front is what I'm interfacing, and then I interface the collar. So I've got to interface this now because I do want to have a little bit of support to it. Just haven't decided if I do want to line or interface the back pieces. I'm not going to do the sleeves for sure. I know that. But this is almost a shirt weight denim. So it's not as heavy. That's why I'm adding a little bit of interfacing to it to give it some stability. So I think I don't want to interface the other pieces, but I'm thinking that's going to probably work better. I might be sorry if I don't. Decided to wait to do my markings until I can get the interfacing on, and then I'll mark up my pattern pieces just as they need to be. But this is me working in the process. All right. Yeah. This keeps switching around to, there we go. That's my little ironing station right there, y'all. I didn't pull out the big boy. I didn't pull out my ironing board. I just wanted this little tabletop for right now. I didn't feel like pulling it out. And my space is limited, so I have to be mindful of what I have in here. I have my cutting tape, then I don't put a lot of stuff in here just so I have room to move around in. This is the longest part of this process, and this is the fusing part, the interfacing part. And I had started using my heat press to do this because you can heat press larger spaces and get it done fast. It only takes about 5 seconds, or 15 seconds, sorry, to interface a piece. And this is not bad. The my gravity feed iron is just that you can't press but so much of a space at one time. But the heat is just as impactful. Just have to make sure that I'm overlapping and doing my part. See, I had a few things that I wanted to share. I did talk about it a little bit, but what I did for my birthday was yesterday, for those of you that haven't heard. I went over to South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. It's just a state over from me. And I spent the day over there with my husband and my youngest son. And got to do breakfast, went fabric shopping, and spent most of the day in a museum over there. If you're familiar with the South Carolina area, it is the South Carolina Art Museum. Museum of Art, something like that. No, South Carolina State Museum. That's what it is. And we obviously went in at the right time. My husband decided, I'm going to take you to the museum. So that's exactly what he did. And they have this exhibit called the Heroes and Villains by Disney, Disney costumes, or costumes by Disney. And so this is most of what was on display was what was it? Dal 1001 Dalmatians or something like that. What's the lady? Anyway, I can't think of the name of the movie now. But it was that one. It was Alice in Wonderland. It was the Cinderella. It was all of these different ones. Uh, a Stitch in Time, something like that. All these costumes from these different periods of time. I think even not Alice in Wonderland, but Dorothy, um, the Wizard of Oz. All these different costumes from these different periods of time, and I mean, it was beautiful to see all these costumes on display. I took lots of pictures, so I'll share that at another time. But just the ooh and ah over these costumes, how they gave a little bit of insight of the designers. I mean, I got to take zoom in on some of the details. Like, it was just exquisite to see. Like, I mean, I was just in awe. I was like a kid in a candy store, just watching costume after costume, details of the costumes, and that not only the women's gowns, but the men's costumes and the shoes and the props, like the canes and the magic wands and all these different things that were used in the costumes. Everything was made, and it was just so detailed. They even had little videos or little movies where you can sit and watch and listen to the history of these things. Like, I was so glad I went. There was also a display. It was a historical museum as well. So they had historical pieces like old television sets, the history of the television, and they had TVs from different time periods. Even recording studios and radio shows, radio programming, all of the, like, we have like the camcorders and things like that. They showed the stuff that they actually used during that period of time. They had old replicas of actual pieces of kitchen equipment, kitchen appliances. There was an old sewing machines that they use in factories. Gave the history of textiles and all these different things. They actually had thread spools or comb threads that you could see how they weaved everything. It was just, it was amazing. This was something you couldn't see all in like in a moment's time. Like, this museum had 4 stories. 4 stories. We made it to 3. And we just decided it was about time for us to go. And I'm glad we made the decision to leave when we did, because it was just about to start the downpour. And we did have to get back home. But we decided we're going to bring the grandkids back and let them in on some of this goodness that we saw. They had replicas of old planes. They had replicas of old dinosaurs and these big, huge woolly mammoths and big furry animals. They had mock backyard scenes and mock old-fashioned kitchen scenes. And it was a lot. They had the history and the facts of the first launch to the moon. Yeah, it was a lot to take in. So I thoroughly enjoyed myself. But going back to the fabric store, just as much as I enjoyed the museum, this fabric store that I went to in Columbia, South Carolina, if you're in the area, it's called House of Fabrics. And it had lots of beautiful fabrics. It's a relatively small store, but it has everything you need. Like everything from buttons to zippers to interfacings to trims, hook and eyes, snaps, all kinds of stuff. Tons and tons of uncarved fabric, gown fabrics. They had the appliques, and she could order what she didn't have, order it for you. So that was a plus. So I guess you could tell I had a good time for my birthday, right? I did. It was a good time. So I'm going to do a fabric haul reveal of the stuff that I did get, so you guys could see that. I had been looking for this particular trim or buttons or brooches or buttons or something to duplicate a suit that I liked. And some of you may have seen it. I don't know if you guys have heard of this female evangelist or female minister called Nona Jones. She's the second person that I've seen with this type of suit on. Hers was a pink suit, like a blush pink suit, but it had brooches all over it, like brooches in different places all over the suit. And it's just gorgeous. I saw another one. I can't remember where I saw it at. The first one I saw, the suit was in white or like a off-white, and it had the same details like brooches all over the suit. And I'd never seen that done before. So, of course, that could be rather expensive to do brooches, and it looked like it could be at least what, 40, 50, and I could be exaggerating, maybe, you know, if I space them out enough, anywhere between 30 and 50, let me say that. And but to get that many brooches, you know how much a brooch costs? Like a real good crystal brooch would probably be about $7-8 a piece. At the minimum, about $4 or $5 a piece. I think I saw some. They weren't real crystal, but I'm sure they would probably work. But I don't want them to eventually turn or tarnish. So what I found is going to work just right. It's a trim that I purchased, and I have to show that trim as well when I do my haul. Might give you a little sneak peek of it. I have all these ideas, but then I have to have time to be able to do it right. All right, so this is just one this is just one side of the front. So I got to do the other side. And once I do that, I can go ahead and start mocking, and then I can go ahead and start sewing it. All right. So I've got some things that I'm working on. I want to share with you guys. I have been saying for a long time that I wanted to get back into sharing some classes or my courses, and y'all will hear me all the time say I'm going. Well, now it's nothing to it but to do it time. So that's where I'm at right now. It's like I need to stop talking about it and doing it, and I did. I told you I had my Patreon page. I launched it. Hey, Lady Mo, I haven't launched it yet, so I'm waiting to launch it, but I'm about to do that soon. But I spent a couple of days setting it up, and just the beginning of it, just to go ahead and launch it. So I haven't set up the course quite yet on it. I just got to put the content in there and share with you how that's going to go. But I've had several of you asking about it, and I kept saying, I'm going to do it. So I finally have done it. And also, I'll tell you more about the Patreon just a little bit. But that's basically, in a nutshell, it's going to be me sharing how I do things. I'll have more moments like this, live interactions and stuff like this. But it'll be for my Patreon members, okay? for those to see. And I'll still share this to YouTube, but all of my Patreon viewers will get firsthand dibs of it. They'll be able to see it live. The other thing is, I posted in my group, I posted in So Much Talent group, 3 names. And I wanted your advice or your opinion on which name you like best. So one of the names was Soul Maker, Soul Makers, no, Scene Makers, sorry, Scene Makers. The other name was Scene Busters, and Scene Busters came from a book that we read together a few years back, and I thought that name was cute. The other one was Scene Rippers. All right. So I've had a couple of you inbox me and want to know what was the name for. That name is actually for what I have been trying to do for a while now, and I could never do it, and I could never understand why it wasn't available to me. But I was trying to find a way to reach out to all of my Instagram folks and give you information for those that really was interested in the information. I didn't want to put everything out there, but I wanted a way that I can chat with my followers, my fan followers, if that makes sense. Those that my diehard followers, let me put it that way, my diehard followers. And so I wanted a way to be able to do that. And so now I just discovered I'm able to create my channel. I did like a personal DM message chat room for some of the folks that were asking. I invited some of the folks that normally comment, that normally chat out with me, normally are at the different events that I do, like here on live or wherever I go live. There are certain people that's going to always show up. So they were in this this private chat on Instagram. But now I am able to go live and do a broadcast channel. So the broadcast channel will go live probably once this live video, and I'll go ahead and up and get it straight. But I'm excited about that because I couldn't, and maybe that was a birthday gift to me. I don't know, because I discovered it this weekend. I mean, I discovered it a couple of days ago, day before my birthday, actually. So that made me really excited. I was very happy about that. So now I can post some stuff like things like the retreats that are coming up. Everybody may not be interested in So Much Talent retreat, but there are some people who are. Some people that will get first dibs, first hint of the retreat. And so you'll be able to be a part of that. So I'm looking forward to it. So make sure if you're on Instagram, look for me and join the channel. It's going to be called Soul Makers because you guys voted on Soul Makers. I'm sorry, I keep saying Soul Makers. Seam Makers. Seam Makers. Provided it's not taken. I haven't checked that yet. But that's the intent. Anybody sewing tonight? Sewing or cutting out anything? Prepping? I was talking with Rochelle. Rochelle Handmade by Designs a little bit earlier. So I don't know if you're watching, although sometimes she's watching from her TV. So if you are, shout out to you, Rochelle. But I was talking with her earlier. She is prepping for some things. Oh, and by the way, Rochelle and I are going live next Friday. I don't know what time. She's going to give me all the information, all the details, but it's June 6th, next Friday. We're going live to do a sew along. sewing together. It's not a sew along, sorry. She's gonna be sewing her thing and I'm gonna be sewing my thing. So make sure you mark your calendars next Friday. It'll be live on YouTube, and we'll be going live to do that. You making a quilt for a lady's grandson? Oh, Mo, I still have my quilt to make, but that last one you did was so beautiful, and I know it was such a load off your shoulders and a breath of fresh air to be able to get that quilt done after 14 years, right? I can only imagine. Was that you that posted it in the group? Is it like a brownish, goldish color? Somebody's working on a quilt inside the group. Ooh. Y'all, I dropped my iron and I busted it. Oh, that's you? Okay, that's gonna be really pretty. I saw that. Y'all, my this is a rapid steam iron that I got from Wawak. I dropped it and busted it. Now only the top panel came off, so the plate that for the top of it, so it didn't stop the iron. It didn't damage the iron itself. So it's still functioning. It's just it's outer space fabric. Oh, I didn't get to look at. I saw the colors. It's the colors that caught my eye, so I didn't get to see the detail of it. Yeah, have y'all been ever wanted? Well, we were just talking about this mold. Like, you just want to finish and get to the end. Well, this is how I am with this. It's like I just want to finish. I just want to get this done. I want to get to the sewing part. I'm still, y'all, trying to decide, do I want to interface the back? Am I going to be sorry that I didn't interface the back pieces? I don't mind about the sleeve. Yeah. I don't mind about the sleeve, I don't believe. It's not going to be a biggie, I don't think. But I'm thinking I probably need to go ahead and add fusible, because I'm not planning on lining it. And this is going to be my mock garment, but it's going to be wearable. So I wanted it to be as close to resemble the actual garment as possible. You know what? I didn't do the interfacing. Man, I still have one more piece to do. And this is the part that I needed to do. But so I'm going to go ahead and do it. So let me share with you guys. Monique, I don't know if you've ever been to Columbia or went to buy any fabric out of the Columbia, South Carolina area, since you may be close to it. But I was there when I went shopping yesterday. I did find one of my main reasons for stopping in there was to go ahead and get some interfacing. And this was the Shape Flex interfacing that I usually use on like jackets and things like that, waistbands, cuffs, shirt plackets and things, especially if it's cottons, because this resembles cotton. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, I'm away from the light, but it resembles like a cotton shirt, but it has fusible interfacing on the other side. Used to live in Columbia? Oh, I did not know that. Well. So, do you ever shop at House of Fabrics? All right, so this is the stuff I already have fused. Let me put that there. I've got that's the collar. Got that done. Of course, now I've done the front piece. That's the front of the vest. I'm not going to fuse that. So I think because this jacket is going to be a little bit heavier, because now I probably could have got away with interfacing just the facing itself, but I interfaced the whole front piece, and now I got to go back and interface the facing. So it is going to be heavier. So I might end up doing the back as well. Wasn't planning on it, but it looks like that's the way we're going. So you say that was about 30 years, 30 years ago? What? Okay, so I don't know how long this place has been there. But yeah, so it's two ladies that run it, and I forget their names. It's been a while since I've been there. I think I only made one trip there, and I had to order some stuff from them another time. And they have a Etsy shop, but they're kind of like Fine Fabrics. They don't have an online presence, but they have the Etsy shop, which is one step up from Fine Fabrics, of course. I'm going to keep this right here because I need to make some markings there. But they have a lot of stuff. And like I was saying earlier, I was able to find something that I was looking for. Plus, y'all know how we do it. We find some extra stuff too. And I found some extra stuff. Wasn't planning on that, but I did. I bought me some extra stuff. All right, so I'm gonna try to get as close to this selvage edge as possible. All right, y'all, I did not want to interface this back, but it looks like I'm going to do it. Are you really going to do it? I'm really going to do it. Are you really going to do it? Yep, I'm really going to do it. Wasn't planning on it, but it looks like that's what's going to happen. Yeah, and I'm trying to reserve. This interfacing was 45 inches wide. There was a place online, I think it was called Fashion Supply Store or Fashion Supply. Can't remember what it was, but Pam Ernie was the one that ran that one online. I don't know if she still does or not. But I think her interfacing was like 60 inches wide. It was expensive. This one was rather expensive too. But when you think about it, the interfacing is usually 22 inches wide. It's usually half this width, right? And I think it was like $10 a yard, something like that. 10. So it really wasn't bad when you think about it, because I got 2 yards of it. It's usually like $6.97. How much was it? 10 something a yard? Yeah, it was 10 something a yard. So at 22 inches wide, and I get 10 yards, I'm only getting half of what I paid for this, right? So it really came out better. It's really cheaper actually, because I get twice as much. Okay, I'm looking for my. Oh, there it is. All right. So anyway, interface, this same shape flex was like $6.98 or something like that at Joann's. And I know, of course, we can get it half off, which was good. We can get it half off. That's even better. But this was, let's see, we got it half off. That made it what, like $3.50 a yard. And I got 2 yards for $7.50, but still that was only half. I would need like 4 yards in order to get the 2 yards that I got here. So if it was $3.50, seven's $14. It's still good on the Joann sale, but guess what? Joann's not here anymore. And who's gonna be offering 50% off on their interfacings right now? Who? So I'm gonna have to start buying my interfacings probably wholesale. But sometimes buying it wholesale, sometimes finding it on sale locally at retail cost can be a little bit cheaper than wholesale. Depends on the quality of it. All right. So, but anyway, I think I got a pretty decent deal for it at regular price. So I don't know, Mo. Are you shopping at Fine Fabrics to get your fabrics, or where do you shop to get your quilting fabrics from? I changed the blade on my rotary cutter, which makes it even better to cut and get it done. I was so happy. At one point, it seemed like my rotor cutting blade wasn't acting right. You have? Okay. Have you bought interfacings from them? From that, that's what I was getting at as far as the fine fabrics. I'd love to know what their prices are. I wish they had an online presence. Like, I wish you could just go there and order online. I think if you know what you need, you can call up, and order stuff and they'll ship it to you, if I'm not mistaken. But you got to know what you're looking for. Because I don't think that they're going to, or at least have send an email of picture if you have, like, say, like if you're missing some fabric, you need a little bit more, and you already have some, maybe you can send a picture via email to see if they have more, and they may send it to you like that. But otherwise, it's a trip to find fabrics. That's why I should have had my husband take me. But then I wouldn't have got to the museum. If y'all ever in South Carolina area, that museum, that exhibit for the hero and villains Disney costume display, it goes through October 26th, I believe. So if you're in that area between now and then, go by and see that display, that exhibit. Okay, so I still got three more things to do. The previous quilts came from Joann's. Oh, okay. No, oh no, not fine fabrics. Okay, it's quilt purchased the fabric from Hobby Lobby. Okay. Yeah, Hobby Lobby and um Hobby Lobby and Michaels, they're more for quilters, stuff like that. I mean, like, they have some fabrics, like some linings and stuff, but it's not for your everyday seamstress. Like, if you're a quilter or a crafter, that's going to be the ideal place for you to go. If you yarn, you knit, crochet, even Cricut, they got, both of them are stocking up stuff for those who do use their Cricut or their those type things. Yeah, most of the stuff is Cricut. I haven't seen anybody do any brother stuff in these places, but it's mostly been Cricut products. So while that's going on, you said you're going to start sewing my own clothes again. So I know it'll be a challenge. You got this. How did your appointment go? Was it successful? I know you were just doing like a mock-up or whatnot. I know this was a friend of yours. You got to tell me all about it. You know, this is when I wish I had my this is when I wish I had my heat press. I think I might have to invest in another. The only reason I'm not using it because it would constantly cut off. My husband said he think it's because of all the stuff that I have on in the room that is tripping the power, and it might just be tripping that. And so something I definitely have to check into because I have my TV going, I have all the lights, I have the iron going, I have my steamer going. Sometimes I usually cut my products off, things off, but of course my industrial machine has a lot of power to it, and then my serger. So yeah, that's a lot. You waiting for her to send you pictures? It came out good, but not my best. She was so happy. Well, well, that's good. See, that's good. She was happy. We all feel like it's not our best, and we always, all of us have room to improve on something. But the fact that she was happy, that's awesome. And she was able to wear it. That's a plus plus. Listen, I still send stuff out of here that I'm not that happy with. And I probably honestly say everything that I send out here, there's something I find wrong with it. I'm not 100% happy with it. There may be one or two garments that I was like, I nailed that. Like I was happy with it. But it's not a whole lot of garments that I don't find something wrong with, or something that I say, you know what, if I had did it this way, it would have been this. But that's us as creators. We're always hard on ourselves. And especially if you're just starting out sewing for people, um, don't be so hard on yourself. I used to tell people, like this one lady I had to make some pants for. She asked me to make her pants, and pants are not my strong suit. At that time was not. And still I have challenges with pants. But especially us with the hips and a lot of stuff going on, there's no perfect body. None. And when I say, I don't mean there's no perfect body. Everybody's body is what it is. But what I'm saying is, it's not the idea where you can just sew the pattern up and it fits the person just right. That's what I mean. And so there are challenges that you have to overcome. Like, you have to fit hips and bellies and, you know, big thighs and all the stuff, right? So she wanted me to make these pants for her because she was having trouble buying pants because she had like hips. You think my hips wide? She had hips and a small waist. And so to make that fit is possible. Mr. Jim will tell you that any day, any given day. It's possible. But for somebody who haven't done it before or is not used to doing that, that's not my expertise. I asked her, I said, look, I don't mind making these pants for you, but this is not my area of expertise. I do have issues with it. But if you don't mind being my guinea pig, if you don't mind being my test, I didn't want to say test dummy, but if you don't mind me testing it out on you, then I can't promise you what they're gonna look like. But if you're okay with it, I'm okay trying it. And she was okay with it. And so that gave me peace of mind knowing that if it come out wonky, then girl, you signed up for this. You can't say nothing. So we were cool, but I don't know. It might not have worked out because I only did that one pair for her. She ain't been back, so. But I'm cool with that. I'm good with that. He said I told her she's helping me learn my fun, and see, and that's it. They let you, then you're learning how to do it because you got to learn at some point, right? And I told her not to advertise me yet. That part right there. That's one of the mistakes that some folks make. They make one little thing and then they get really happy because the person like it, and then they start going into business. I used to tell people all the time, especially if it's stuff that I don't normally make. Even like I had a relative want me to make something for her that I really didn't approve of the attire, but I made it for her. And she's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna tell everybody." I said, "Don't tell nobody I made this for you. Nobody, because this is not what I do. That's not my niche. So don't tell nobody." But yeah, wait till you get to the place where you're comfortable and and you sure what you're doing before you start advertising. But definitely, as long as she will allow you, increase your skill set. Now we can talk about gowns and stuff all day long. Even in that, there's still room for me to grow, you know. But but I will definitely teach you what I know, and that's what my Patreon channel is going to be about: teaching you what I know and how I do it and what works for me. One of the first initiatives that I'll do is I'll open back up my designer gown course, and I'll show you how to create a gown from sketch to finish. So you'll be able to make something that you envision, that you thought of, and you'll take it from paper to reality. You didn't put your label in it. Okay, you could have put your label in it. It was hers. Just tell her don't talk about it. Yeah, speaking of, I need to make me some more labels. Because I'm about out of my labels. Alright, y'all. I want to be done with this so bad. I've got 2 more pieces. No, 4 more pieces. One of the things I always advise when interfacing is don't iron, but press. You can iron it once the interfacing is set, but when you're setting the interfacing for the first time, press it. There's a difference. Pressing is just that, just pressing it. But ironing is that back and forth motion. And when you're pressing it, you want to press it in place for 10 seconds. This is why I use, the majority of the time, I use this Teflon sheet so that I can put the maximum heat on it for that length of time. Because you can't put a little bit of heat on a, and fuse anything, fuse this. But if you got if you got this Teflon sheet in between your iron and the fabric, it'll hold the heat and it'll keep you from burning your fabric. This is the most time consuming part, but it's going to be the most rewarding part. This is what's going to give my jacket shape. So I can have the jacket on and think it's going to look good, but if it sit up and hold right like I want to, it won't be nothing more than a shirt. But by me adding this in here, it's going to give it that feel and the weight of the jacket. Give that firmness like a suit. Okay. All right, now I flip it over and go ahead and iron. So I showed this the other day, the difference in the weight of the fabric, the piece without interfacing. So this is the piece without interfacing. Not the same piece, but same fabric. So see how flimsy it is? And then I have this. See how stiff? So it's not super stiff, but it's enough weight to give it that whole structure to it, as opposed to this right here. Like, see how flimsy that is, and see how it crinkles and puckers. So with the interfacing in there, it's going to give it a little bit more hold, a little bit more body. See that? Give it a little bit more structure. So, and that's what I want. So I think even though I don't like this part, it's like that cooking. You cook, you measure twice and cook it, bake it, whatever you measure. Make sure you just double check that, and then cut into it. So we always say measure twice, cut once. But in essence, the strongest part of your garment is in the prep. Making sure you make sure you get it right, measure it right. That's why I always encourage doing a muslin. We don't want to do muslins. Lord knows I don't like doing muslins. But I've found, especially when it comes to my customers' work, it works out because I can work out the kinks on their mock pieces first. And you don't have to do a full mock garment, just enough to test the fit in the main areas. But once you do that and get that right, then you can zoom through the rest. But taking proper measurements, this is the kind of stuff that I'll be talking about. So sneak peek. Taking proper measurements, one, getting the right interfaces to match up with the fabric that you're using the right threads and the right needles. But definitely making sure you mark every notch, every dot, every line, every placement mark. Make sure you mark everything. And then pressing is so important. Like, I don't always, like, if I'm doing like a suit like this or something refined like this, something serious, I'll say, I'll make sure I press my seams open, or however I need to press them to get that crisp look. You can always tell a handmade garment or a poorly made garment. Let me say it like that, because you get some factory made stuff that just as bad. But you can tell the difference between a well-made garment as opposed to a garment that was just kind of put together, just poorly made. But it's all in the pressing. It's all in the fit. Fit is key. You can have a garment that's made well, it's stitched up well, it's pressed well and everything. But if you didn't get that fit right, you can't wear it. I've had that happen to me many times. Just because I didn't take the time, I was rushing, trying to get through it, and I didn't take the time to fit it right, fit it properly. And my husband always fussing at me, why don't you get you one of them little mannequin things or them body things? Boy, do you know how much some things cost? Yeah, they a lot. Just get it. But I changed. The only reason I don't get it, y'all, is because my weight fluctuates a lot. Like, it fluctuates. And so I can't make a big mannequin small, right? I can pad out a mannequin, but I can't make a big mannequin small. So it's kind of hard to get it. Now, if y'all have any recommendations or suggestions on how I can bypass that, do I need to buy two? I ain't doing two mannequins now. So let me know your thoughts. And I'm not doing those twin fit things where you adjust the mannequins. That don't work. I refuse to buy those. The only other alternative is to buy at my goal weight, get myself there and stay there. I did that one time and I stayed there. That was my fault. All right. I've got three. I got 3 pieces to go. Monique used to get it and pad it up, then take pads off. Yeah, I thought about that when I said that. Maybe I can. That's why I said maybe I'll buy at my goal weight, and then if I get bigger than my goal weight, then I'll just have to take the pads off. That's a lot of work. So maybe I should just keep myself at a smaller weight, huh? The other thing too, prep your fabric. Make sure you prep your fabric at the way it's going to be treated. So if it's a fabric that you're going to wash, then wash your fabric first. You know, I've always said get extra fabric buying it. Don't buy just the amount needed, but buy enough to test your stitches, to test the color fastness, whether it's going to fade or anything or stretch. To buy enough, at least an extra yard, at least a half a yard to test that. And then pre-wash your fabric, however, or pre-dry it, dry clean it, whatever, however you're going to do it, so that all of the stretchiness, all of the, not the stretchiness, but all of the shrinkage and whatever else color fastness will be done with. So when you get ready to treat it the next time, actually launder it once it's been sewn up, it won't shrink on you. Sometimes garments are bought in the store like that. They haven't been pre-treated. You wash it and then the collars and the lapels and stuff start puckering. That's because the interface, the fabric start drawing up and shrinking and the interfacing stays the same. So then you have these little pucker marks over it. That was a poorly made garment. All right. 2 down and two to go. Then I'll be ready to sew. How's Ethan, Monique? Yeah, I wasn't planning on interfacing all of this right now, but I mean, I've got to, right? I got to make my markings and everything. He's doing good. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You still doing your Bible studies with Shar? She just sent me a really cute birthday card through email. Are you still on send out cards? I need to get back up. I need to get back on send out cards. He said yes. When do y'all do your Bible studies? I think I'm on. Do y'all do it on Wednesday nights? Oh, Tuesdays at your lunch. Oh, okay. This a one-on-one. Okay. Look, one thing about this steam though, I'm getting a facial, get a steam facial because the steam is rising up. So y'all see that glow that comes from this steam? Y'all see that glow on my face? You see that? That's that steam right there. All the more reason to steam your garments. Okay. All right, so that's the front lapel. So now I've got that done. So once I get done with this, I just got these two left to do, and then I'll start marking my garments. Whew. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Can't wait. Make sure I got it lined up so it's not crooked, because once I start pressing, that's going to be it. Gotta check my water too, y'all. My water is running low. Got my tank right here. Just gotta fill it up. I don't drink all my water, and I should. Y'all, sometimes I'll drink a half a bottle of water here, a third of a bottle of water there. I don't know why I get more water instead of drinking all of the same one. But instead of throwing it out, I fill up my tank. Y'all don't judge me. Don't judge me. I'm making good use of the water though. It's not quite down there, but I can fill it back up. I try to find something else to do while I am doing this if I need to. It's going pretty fast. All right. I have to make sure that I'm overlapping where I left off at so it'll press so there's no bubble gaps in the interfacing. So I always overlap where I left off at. Because if there's any chance for water or anything to get in there, it'll start separating. And you don't want that. Who's the other person watching? There's somebody else watching. So hello, hello, whoever's hiding, watching in secret. And you may be watching from TV, like I said, I may know who's watching. When you're watching from other sources, you might not be able to comment. getting closer and closer to the end. That's when I start getting excited. Notice once I press it, then I'll once I press it, then I'll iron over it a little bit. Make sure I'm overlapping. Okay. All right, I have one more piece after this, and it'll be done. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Yay. Okay. So I'm just gonna press over this really quick. Just make sure I don't have no gaps in here anywhere. All right. And I am going to last piece. Last piece. All right. So y'all get to see me do this from sketch to finish. I've been talking about it, so I hope this suit does not disappoint, because this is the wearable muslin. So if it doesn't come out exactly like I like it, on this particular one I get to see what it's going to look like, work out the kinks, whatever I need to work out, and transfer. The only thing that I didn't do, like I said, I used a different pair of pants, a different pants pattern, still a Vogue pattern. And the pants are basically the same, except for the yellow suit pattern, 1890. There's a top stitching down the center of the seam. The seam is stitched. Let me say it that way. I don't have to stitch the seam, but they're shaped just the same. Now these pants, they're going to be short. They're going to be the crop pants, just like the Vogue, the original Vogue that I used to cut my pants out with. Just because I goofed and I cut out the vest before I cut the pants out. I bought enough just for the pants, but I cut the vest out first without thinking. And so I just decided to go ahead and just use it as the short version, the crop version of these pants. But this part here, the hip part, that's the main part that needs to be fitted. I can lengthen and shorten with no problem. So I wasn't worried about that. There's a piece right there that needs to be. Okay. There's just one piece that did get pressed that I needed to press. And then it'll all be done. Hi, who else joined us tonight? Let me know who you are. Let me know who you are and where you watching from. Mm. Alright. I'll do it this way. Base done with it sideways. I figured 3 clicks will be enough. Yeah, I am almost finished. Still gonna overlap that. Y'all see my hands? Hands are red. The steam. It's one way to keep your hands moist and steamed and youthful. Get them steamed up. All right, that's the last piece, y'all. So everything is pretty much interface except for the sleeves. Not worried about the sleeves. I could always line the sleeves if I need to. Yeah. Usually the sleeves on a jacket are not interfaced like that anyway. But they are lined to give the support that's needed. All right, so what I'm going to do now is just to go through and mark the things that need to be marked. Okay. I've got my back piece out, so I'm going to go ahead and start with back piece. I'm going to give my pattern piece a quick little press. So I can make sure that it's laying on here. Good. Do one at a time. I don't think anything on here needs to be adjusted. I did get I get my wax chalk because I am going to I think one of the other things I'm going to invest in is the little chalk pens. But for now, I have enough point. This one's got a good point on it. All right, so I'm just going to mark the placement marks. I already have I cut little notches out where these are, but I'll go ahead and put the little circles there. Dare not do this before you press because this steams out. So if you press it after you don't mark it, guess what? Their markings disappear. So like I said, I've already cut little slits. I'm used to doing that, cutting slits in where I need to make my placements. But I've interfaced, so it didn't seal it up. I can still see it a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and make these little circle dots. The little circles are usually your placement points. Or in this case, it's like your ease and mark on your where your sleeves should go. Okay. All right, so that's the back. That's done. This is the side back right here. So I don't think I need to do anything on here except for I've got I'm going to go ahead and clip this again where I clipped it the first time. This is where okay. I usually don't match up like the sides because I know what that's all about. Okay. All right, so that's the side. Now this is the front lapel. All right. And the only thing I needed to mark here was the collar placement, where the collar's going to go. And I am going to shave off the excess of, where's my rotary cutter? There's a little excess interfacing. I'm going to go ahead and get that extra interfacing off so I can see my seams properly. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put a little dot, circle arc right there. Those are clips. I'll go ahead and clip this. Okay. This is where my collar is going to rest. So make sure I have that squared away. This is very important, especially when it comes to your collars, because you want to make sure you set that collar in the exact place that it's asking you to set the collar. If you don't have these marked, it's going to be very difficult to get that collar in there, or it's going to be off. So you don't want to play with the notches and the circles and stuff at the collar mark for the collar. Okay, there was one down here I didn't realize. Let me do this on the other one. Make sure I get that in there right. Okay. All right. Some of these I had already marked. I'm just reinforcing where I marked at, and some of the places that I couldn't mark on yet because I hadn't interfaced it. So I'm doing that now. This jacket calls for lining, but I'm not lining it. That's the vest. This is the undersleeve. Okay, here's the other piece. That's the undersleeve. Where's the okay, that's the oversleeve. All right. Now this one has darts in it, and it also has a what do you call it, pocket, but I'm not going to do the welt pocket. I'm going to do the patch pocket. So I'm not going to do that part. It does have the patch pocket look on it. Let's see what I do there. Okay. So they probably have it where there's the flap on top. You can see it right there. But I'm not going to do I'm going to actually do the welt pocket. And what I'm using for the welt pocket is actually the pocket lining. So I'm going to use that on top as opposed to the bottom. I think I put it right here. I need to mark these two. So I'm using this for the patch pocket, and I'm going to put that on top here. All right, so that's going to work for that. It says pocket A, but yeah, that's on the inside. Anyway, all right. I don't have to worry about that part. So I do need to, no, I don't need to do anything to that. I was going to say I needed to mark the placements, but I don't because I'm not using it for the same thing it was used for. Now, I do need to make sure I mark it because, see, there's a difference. I added onto the seam allowance on the side right here. So, and there's a notch right here. So if I turn that around that wrong way, the notch will be placed wrong. So I need to go in here and make sure that that notch is actually marked out. Actually, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to mark on the inside. I don't really need that notch because I'm not using it for anything. But I am going to mark on here which is the side, which side is for the side seam of this pocket. So I'm just going to mark SA. So I know that this side goes towards the side seam. That way I won't place the pocket wrong. All right, so I put that there. I'm going to go ahead and mark out my collar. Now there's an under collar and an upper collar and an under collar. The upper collar is going to be a little bit wider. I'm pretty sure this is the upper collar. It's going to be a little bit wider because they cut the under collar a little bit more narrow. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little bit darker. The light is a little bit different. But this way, the collar can roll to the underside because the under collar is narrower or shorter in length than the upper collar. Just a little bit, just by a fraction. So that way the upper collar can roll towards the back and you don't see the seam. Hope that makes sense. So just want to make sure that I got the right one. And let me cut this excess interfacing out so I can see my seams clearly. That's why it's important to make sure that you cut the pattern exactly as it's asking you to cut it. Don't cut anything too narrow. Don't cut it too wide. You need to cut it almost just like the pattern is asking for you to cut it. Okay. This way I can see what I'm doing. These are notches that I previously cut on the fabric that I'm cutting out through the interfacing. Still going to go ahead and mark there we go, to make sure I get it cut right. All right, there's another little circle there. There's a double notch there. Okay, so there's some circles on here that I need to cut, and these are going to be placement marks for the collar. I already got lines cut or snipped, but I'm going to go ahead and add the circles there too, just to be doubly sure. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Been about an hour and a half in now, almost a little over an hour and a half. I won't be on here too much longer. So I want to get something stitched up here before I hop off. That's the upper collar, and it's already interfaced. This under collar is going to serve as its lining. So I'm going to cut this excess interfacing off of it. Be careful so I don't snip off too much. All right. What other scissors? I think those are my paper scissors. I need to mark the difference. All right, there's a snip there, and a snip there. And I do like to go in, I meant to do it on that collar, but mark the center. I usually like to cut a little pie-shaped piece out for the center part, so I'll know where that is. Once you match up all of your pieces, all of your parts, it's not hard to set the collar in. But it makes it so much easier when everything is marked and ready to go. I think I did do that part. Did both of those. All right, so I'll just cut a little wedge out there, and I'll cut a little wedge out All right, so I don't know if you can see that. See that little wedge? Did that at the top and the bottom. So I can see that. All right, so that's the collar. Let me do the same for this piece here. The only thing I have to do next is the big one, and that's to mark the jacket front. The jacket front has everything. Like I said, it has the darts in it. It also has the buttonholes, the button spot. What else? I think that's it. Of course, the collar, the markings. We'll make sure we get that right. Now, I need to find my tracing paper. To make sure I have that. And I have my tracing wheel. I think I stuck my paper in one of these. Oh, thought that was it. All right, so I might just have to. Yeah, I put it somewhere, but I can't remember. And where I put it is supposed to be a place where I can easily find it. That's the funny part. All right, so what I'm going to do is wait on that part because I want to prolong that. But I am going to. Oh, there it is. I told you. Put it in a place where I'm supposed to easily find it. Up here on my board. All right, so I am going to make sure it's lined up together just like it should be, evenly. And then I'm going to sandwich the interfacing between. Okay, I'm going to sit my weights right here so this won't move. I'm going to sit my weights here so that won't shift. And I'm going to place this underneath. I want to find one. Usually I try to find one as close to the color as possible. Like I'm not going to line it. I can't find my yellow, so I'll just use the blue. I'll just use the blue. Don't look like I've used that. Almost separated it. I'll just use that. It don't matter. So I have to try to wash it out as much as I can. Alright, so I just go in and fold this in half this way because I'm marking two sides at one time. Okay. And this can come off on your hands. So I'm just going to slide this in between the two layers. Try not to rub it up against the fabric as much as I possibly can, because like I say, it will come off, will rub off. But I do want to make sure all areas are covered. Okay. All right, now to find my tracing wheel. Um, Where's my, oh, there's my cart right there. All my wheels and stuff over here. Okay. This was a, I don't want to use, I was hoping not to use this one. This was a double-sided one. I got these from a place called, I think it's called Confidence Stitch. Yeah, Confidence Stitch. I saw these people online through a group that I'm a part of a group called Secrets of a Bridal Seamstress. And they were doing a giveaway, and I actually won. And I won, it was a $50 gift card that I won. I didn't want to use this, but I'm going to use it because I need to use something. But anyway, I won a $50 gift card, so I went shopping, and I found this little gadget, and I'm still not quite sure. I think the way you use it, is supposed to double, like you create a seam and a cutting line at the same time. I'm not sure, but I'm not quite sure how to use it, but I'm going to use it like a regular tracer wheel right now. But I was able to get this and 4 different sizes of bias tape makers, and it was something else. Oh, I got an awl and something else that I got. So I'm being careful for the fabric not to move and shift in this paper. And I'm following the size 16 dart. I'm pressing hard because I'm pressing for 2 sides. Okay. All right. So that was, I'm going to go into here and make sure that I pressed it. But I'm also going to, this was the awl that I got. So I'm going to go ahead and see if it'll make an impression for these circles. And this awl is not used for this, but it's what I got handy right now. This actually appears through fabric. All right, so I'm going to use that and make sure that it took. And it did take on the one side. Well, actually it took on both sides. So I'm just going to go in and redraw. All the ink is out of that. Oh, here it is. So this is one of those disappearing ink pens. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I mark those out. I'm going to flip this over and trace that out. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get this. All right, so what I did was went ahead and did the buttonhole right there, and I'm going to reinforce that. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over. Do the same thing, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and clip the notches that need to be clipped. All right, I already clipped like the placement marks here, but I'm going to go ahead and clip, mark out the circle here. Okay. Go ahead and mark out the circle right here because I don't want to go too far. Okay. All right. So I got that side marked. And I got the buttonhole marked. And I'm going to go and mark the buttonhole. So I don't remember. Let's see. The buttonhole is on this side and the button is on this side. So I'll do the button on the left side. Then I'll flip this over inside out and make sure I mark the darts correct. All right. I'm going to mark the dot on here. And mark the dot here. And then mark the dot here. Okay. So now what I'm gonna have to do, I may have to do like a tailor's tack or something right here, because when I have to press this part right here, then that little circle gonna be gone, unless I go ahead and use this disappearing. Well, either way, it's gonna disappear because it's a disappearing pen. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is reinforce the dart that I placed since I have my pen now. It's gonna mark the dot here. Mark the dot here, and a dot here. Yeah, it's a little bit off. So, because it was a little bit off, I am going to mark the actual line where it needs to be. So I don't want to sew up the wrong thing and it don't match up. That's why you have to double check, because something could shift. All right, so now So I had to remark that to make sure I marked it right. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Now this is the side that didn't show up as well. Probably what I should have done in the first place instead of trying to use that tracing paper, because it will shift. So make sure I got everything lined up the way it's supposed to be lined up. Okay, now go ahead and mark the tops and the bottoms of the darts. This fisheye dart. I'm going to mark the tops and the bottom so I can get that right. All right. Go ahead and draw my lines. Now, one thing Mr. Jim taught when he taught our class 2018, he likes to do one side of the dart and then the center of the dart. Draw the line straight down the center. So that way he'll just fold the dart along that center mark, the half mark, and then stitch down the one side that he did mark. I do that sometimes. Thing to do because it makes sure you get your dart right. But I usually stick a pin in between both sides to match them up that way and then sew it. But it comes out perfect if you do it the way he said it. All right. So that's the other dart. Okay. So now I can actually get in here and get some sewing done. The only thing that I did mark was the pocket placement. So I need to mark that. I did have to add to the side. So, all right, so there is, let's see. There's going to be a seam right here, I believe, because the way this is made. I don't know why they made it this way, but it is like that. So I sewed the side front to this piece. It's a little short piece, and it gets sewn onto here. And then that's where I believe the pocket is going to interact right in here. But the pocket placement should be right in here somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that as a placement. I'm going to mark this one also because I don't know why that big one is right here. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, this one might just be for the flap. If I was using the flap, the little tiny circle. So I might not need it. Just grab my pocket just to kind of look at it. So this is the side that's going to go towards the okay. All right. All right. I think I got it together, y'all. That is the side front. I didn't need to do anything to the side front. So, but I've got this. So now I'm ready to sew something. All right, so I'm gonna take this over and stitch up something of this, at least one thing, and then we can call it a day. Computer up here is working on some stuff. And you see my extra water over here. There's another bottle. I'll go ahead and pour this over into my steamer. Get rid of that. And then I'm going to guys over here where I am. Make sure I have what I need over here. All right, I'm going to take you up here, if you don't mind. Okay. I didn't get my instructions. Y'all still hanging with me? I appreciate y'all. Thank you for whoever sent the like. All right. Let me get my instructions. Just in case. Right in here. Y'all, I was going through this pattern the other day, and a whole section of the pattern sheet missing, of the pattern pieces. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's why it was sitting on the countertop, because somebody took out the pattern pieces and they just needed that one section, and then they took off. I was literally about to get upset, and I was like, you know what? But I looked down on the floor, and it had fallen to the floor. So, can't be rushed to judge, right? All right, so I'm gonna put this instructions here where I can see it. But the first thing I have to do, y'all almost at me too, Mom. Almost at my stopping point. All right, so I'm going to stay stitch this side here. Actually looks like more of a gathering. It's an easing between the two notches at the front. And then I have to add the dart in, and I have to just stay stitch the placement for the collar right here at the top. All right, and then I'll sew the side seam, front side seam on. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna grab this. And yes, I'm going to use some white thread for right now. It'll be all right. So I am going to, oh, I didn't open that part up. Got to open this. That's where the collar's going. So you'll see I'll have to E-stitch around the markings there. All right. So I'm going to stitch around this part to secure that right there, because you don't want it to be, once you put the collar in there, that this just opens up right past that point. So you want to stay stitch it. So This is slit like this so the collar can get in there and you can manipulate that and move it the way you need to. There's a notch right here that I need to remember that's there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to move you guys. I may move you guys. Give me just a second here. Second. While I lift this up. It's a really sticky pad, y'all. I want y'all to be able to see what I'm doing. All right. Still can't see, can you? Just a little bit. Just a little bit better. All right, let's go. Just gonna stitch this enough. I'll trim this up a little bit. There's too much interfacing. So I gotta make sure I get this just right. All right. I'm gonna pivot right where this circle is. That's why it was important to put that circle there so I can see where to start pivot. One way to make sure that you get it right there on the circle is to walk it through. Like you can lift it up and walk it through, and also you can shorten your stitch length to make sure you get closer to that area. Okay. All right, let me do this side. I'm doing 5/8 inch because that's what the stitch is going to be, 5/8 of an inch. So I want to make sure I land right there on that circle. And then I'm going to pivot. And when you pivot, it should still end up being 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So that's what you're going to be sewing. So I'm going to show you what that looks like here. All right, so that's what that looks like. So now that's stabilized right there, and that's stabilized there. Okay, and then there was a part right here where the two notches are that I need to ease right in there. So I'm just going to set my machine to the largest setting, which is number 5. And I only need one stitch, and that's going to ease what needs to be eased. And I'm going to do a 1/2 inch, not a 5/8 inch. Because that easing should not be seen. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna show you what it looks like. I need my little snips. All right, so see, this is what mine did. That's the easing, and it's gonna, once I put the other piece there, it'll pan out where it needs to. It's not gonna stay bubbled like that. All right, the other thing that I needed to do was to go ahead and do that dart. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my stitch length to a 2.5. I'm gonna get my machine my lighting right. And I'll put it to 2.5 because I want that dart to stay in there. Okay. So, see my dart, right? I'm going to go ahead and pin my dart at the bottom of the leg of the dart. And then I'm going to pin at the top of the dart where that circle is. So I know I need to stop right there. And then what I do is go ahead and put a pin through this dart on this side of the leg. And then I'm going to put the pin through the dart on this side of the leg. Go ahead and squeeze it together. Make sure it's lined up right. And then go ahead and put a pin there. Okay. All right. And then just to check and make sure, this is why Mr. Jim go ahead and put a center seam. So see, I put a pin there where the line is on one side, and I make sure that it matches up on the other side. So when I sew the line, it'll be, when I sew the line on this side, it'll stitch the same on the other side. So see, I have the pin there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I still have my stitch to 2.5. I'm going to go ahead and put my needle down in the dart. I mean, at the top of the dart in that little circle. Just do a little back stitch there. And, sorry, fabric was there in the way you couldn't see it. Stitching down this line and praying that it's going to stay true to where I pinned it. So this is the kind of stuff that you'll see that I'll be doing live. I won't be doing this live. Maybe every now and then, but for the most part, I'll be doing this live with my Patreon folks. They'll get first-hand view of me stitching up something. You know, probably working on clients' garments or my own. But usually when I sew, I'm trying to show a technique or something. Good night, Mo. Thank you for stopping in. I'll be showing a technique or something. So the Patreon folks, they'll get first dibs of that, okay? All right, so that is the dart that's in place. And these are the placement marks. So I think I won't be using this one. It's probably going to be this one that I use for the pocket. And the other one will be over here on this side somewhere. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the other side, get that out of the way. And actually, let me go ahead and stitch up the side front. Go ahead and stitch up the side front, and I've got it right here. So, all right, y'all, I think that's my cue. Hang on. I think I've got like 5 minutes of, hang on. I've got about 4 minutes of time on here for. So, I'm going to see if I can get this in because I don't want to play with it. So I'm matching up notches here. I'm going to go ahead and stitch this down. I'm keeping an eye on my time there because it'll click out. Could say I'm missing a part. All right. So, y'all, I don't want to play with this. So I'm going to call this a night. Yeah, I better call this a night, y'all, because it's going to check out on me. So, but thank you all for watching. If this has been helpful, let me know. Let me know what you got out of this tonight. I know we were just steaming and pressing, but let me know what you got out of it, and check back with me because I'll be back in so we can finish this up. All right. Love you to life. Y'all have a good night. Bye.